Alright guys, it's Willie from YouTube, and today I'm going to be comparing what Canada does better than America. So I'm going to go into my continuation of part 2. This is my part 2. I did a previous video on what America does better than Canada. Now it's for what Canada does better than America. And what I noticed right away when I drive into Buffalo, Pennsylvania, Texas, Cleveland is even worse. I find that the roads are terrible, man. They need to do something about them damn potholes. Those potholes, I've been busting so many of these tires over there in Buffalo, New York, and Cleveland. Every other month, I gotta go to Mole's Tires and keep changing my tire, putting in new tires. But when you come here up to Canada, the road is so smooth, and you find out that the roads, I guess, because the cities were built in the early century, that a lot of roads are very narrow in America, as you would compare here to Canada, where they're very wide. On the east side, you have 3 lanes on the east side, but in Buffalo, Cleveland, all those inner cities, it's very narrow. It's very hard to get parking. And man, those damn potholes, they need to do something about them. That's why there's so many tire stores, so many tire shops in Buffalo and Cleveland. But then you'll notice, if you go to some areas in Buffalo, that you'll find some nice streets, and then you'll find some bad streets, which I think what the government is really doing is really picking on certain areas that they will improve. Like, they'll improve the suburbs, they'll improve the rich areas in Buffalo, but then they'll neglect the poor areas in the hood. You'll notice that as soon as you hear your tire rumbling, then you know you're in the hood. Because that at least in Canada, they pretty much, everybody is at the same level. All the roads are taken care of at the same time. Another thing that I noticed Canada does better is the city layout. There are no food deserts here in Canada. Every city that I've been to, Toronto, I've been to Niagara Falls, I've been to Ajax, Oshawa, you don't really see any food deserts, which really means that you always see a grocery store nearby, within driving or walking distance. But when you go to Buffalo, I've gone from like the downtown Buffalo core, which has some groceries, and then you got to go all the way out to Cheektowaga, which is like a 10-minute drive to see groceries again. So within that whole area, you see like a black spot of where the hood is, and you don't see any groceries in that area. But you don't see that in Canada. Everything is all the same. As you would say, maybe gentrification is better here in Canada. There's no mass empty lots. There's no mass vacant houses. There is no really hoods here in Canada. Everybody's gentrified with the mix of rich and poor, building in houses. But in Buffalo, you can really see the segregation going on. Black people on one side, white people on the other side. You have got like a whole bunch of vacant houses and empty lots on one side, and then it just looks terrible that they will neglect some areas and then make other areas are very clean and well taken care of. I also noticed that Canada, what they do better than America is that they always keep their roads clean and sidewalks clean. And even the general landscape is clean. Like when you go to Buffalo, Cleveland, you'll find out that there's a lot of garbage left behind. You could drive by and see mountains of waste just left at the curb. They're just not able to keep up with cleaning up as well as you would see in the Canadian cities. Another thing that Canada does a lot better than America is safety. That there is no guns out there. Like when you go to Cleveland, it's an open and carry state, so you can walk around with your gun showing. In Buffalo, it's a concealed state, so you don't have to show that you have a gun. But just knowing that people have guns and they're walking around, it just doesn't make me feel safe in America. And also, America, what Canada does better is that you really don't see gangs that visible. Like, first thing I noticed when I drove down to America is that you will actively see gang members just standing at the curb, ask you what you want. So, like, whenever I get to a stop sign, I try and look away because I don't want to look at those gang members on those streets in America. Because as soon as you get to a stop sign, they come close to your car and ask you, what do you need, what do you want? You never see that in Canada, but that's the first time when I went to America I see that type of stuff going on. And also in Canada, when you call the police, they do come. When I call the police in Buffalo, they do not come. They come like maybe an hour later after all the violence has been done and everybody has gone everybody has shot themselves, everything. That's when they show up. But in Canada, the response time is 5 to 10 minutes. The police show up. In America, especially if you're in the hood, and then they know that from your voice that you're talking black, that they will not show up. It'll be like an hour later when they show up and say, oh, what happened? You could get robbed, you could get like beaten or stabbed, and they'll just come afterwards and say, this is terrible. If only we were here 45 minutes earlier, we could have saved this man's life. But I'm sure this has something to do with racism, because I'm sure when you're in the suburbs in America that the response time is a lot better than it is in the hood. And I say that because one time my car broke down in the suburbs in Buffalo. I would say that I think the suburb is called Seneca, near where the Seneca grounds. It was right off the highway. So I was walking around, and did you know within 5 minutes a police showed up and said, oh, what are you doing out here in the dark? So look at that. It was in the dark, and I had police present within 5 minutes. But when I go in Buffalo and I get beaten up and I call the police, they don't show up until an hour later. So I think it has something to do with the area and also with racism, that they will only intervene if certain people call and which area that you're in. If you're in the suburb and they call that the black man is just wandering around, then of course there's going to be a fast response time. Another thing that I found Canada does better than America is Canada has a good control of pests like rats, roaches, bed bugs. I only knew about bed bugs when I first came into Buffalo when I was 25 years old. I was, we were just cleaning up one of the tenants' room. The guy, he went to jail, and then his family members come and pick up all his stuff. And so we went over there, we were cleaning up the stuff. I was tired. I was sitting on a chair, I was eating my pizza. And then I fell asleep. And then I woke up after 2 hours and I see these huge bumps on me. And I'm like, what the hell is all of this? I was like, was it that pizza I ate? Did they put something in that pizza that I was allergic to? And I was like, but I've been to Lenovo's before. This never happened before. So I'm like, and I look at the chair and I see the little bugs. And I ask the other people, the other tenants, and they tell me, man, that's bed bugs, man, that's bed bugs. I was like, wow. The first time I ever get bitten with bed bug, I get like inch mounds on me. And I'm like, oh my God. That's the first time I came in contact with bed bug. And that was in America. And later on, staying there long enough, I see that that's a big problem in Buffalo. It's even higher in Cleveland. When I was looking at statistics, Cleveland, Ohio has one of the highest incidences of bed bugs. But here in Canada, Ontario, the incidence is very low. And I've been living in public housing in my early years, never had to experience that, only roaches. And that was something else. If you ever get bitten by a bed bug, you know that it's very uncomfortable. It's like a mosquito bite that doesn't go away until like another day passes. Another thing that I find Canadians do better than Americans is they're very humble. They always act in good faith. Like if I wanted somebody to help me out, get something out of my trunk, you know, I don't have to tip the person $1, you know, after they help me. Like, what is it, like when you were going to America, like getting directions, we would have to give $1 or $2 for the guy that helped us, you know, give us directions. Another thing is, whenever I got something out of my car in Buffalo or Cleveland, there was always people there to help me out, but then they always wanted $5, $10. Oh, can you help me out with this? Can you help me out with that? But in Canada, people generally just help you out just for being helpful. You know, they're not trying to nickel and dime you for every little thing. Another thing that I noticed when Canadians do better than Americans is police engagement. Now, in Canada, when I get a speeding ticket, the cops, they just write the ticket and they tell me what I did and they tell you just go on. But in America, when I get a speeding ticket, the speeding ticket is followed by a frisk, and then they also search my car. And that's every time my car gets stopped in America. I have to get the whole shebang. But that's never happened to me in Canada, and I've been stopped in Canada so many times. All they do is give me a ticket and tell me to keep it going. But in America, I don't know if it has to do with racism or something that they do as a standard, but I'm sure it has to do with racism, because whenever I get stopped in Buffalo, Cleveland, Pennsylvania, I get the whole shebang. Even with these Canadian plates on my car, they know it's Canadian plates on my car, so they know I'm not from the area, but you know, they still give me the whole shebang being black. So I understand why there's a whole protest of this blue on black crime going on. And I find that overall in Canada it's more family oriented. Now, in my previous video I talked about America being more for individualism, more for the single person. In Canada, I find it's more for family, because you have a lot of social programs that help out families. You know, you have free health care that helps out family members, housing initiatives, all these programs that really help out families. But then you find out that a lot of that's why we pay a lot of taxes, is to fund these social programs. So really, to hustle, to start a business, to all the startup costs of getting an office, to get equipment, materials, it's really hard to start the business in Canada than it would be in America. So guys, that's everything I gotta say. Please like, share, and subscribe. This is William from YouTube. Bye-bye.